Hello, and thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels Live Hospitality Talk Show. Hope all is well. Happy Tuesday. You know what? First of all, I want to apologize for last week. I did not have the show. I mean, it was planned. In my head, it was planned not to do the show, but I guess I didn't tell anyone else, right? So, but it is what it is, right? But I did have to attend a funeral, so that was the reason for me not having the show last week. But I'm back this week. In fact, I was out of town this weekend and just came back maybe a couple hours ago, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do the show today. In fact, I told a couple of people I was not going to do the show, but it hit me. I said, you know what? I'm near Hollywood, and I said, you know what? The show must go on, right? So that's what I'm doing. The show's going on. So thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. I'm gonna do a little different today, different format, because I'm not sure if you guys knew last week I was actually, although I didn't do my show, I did a show with on someone else's show. I was a guest on someone else's show, and that show was called the Hotel Marketing Live Show, which is on Thursday, 11 a.m. PST. And the host is none other than Miss Maret Padavani. She's with Clubhouse fame, right? So she's big on Clubhouse and started doing her own show. Her first, her own hospitality show live on LinkedIn. Like I'm live on LinkedIn as well as YouTube. And she asked me to be her first guest, so I couldn't turn down that offer, right? So I did that instead of my show. But like I said, the real reason I didn't do my show is because I was attending a funeral in Blythe, and although I was available at 1 o'clock, the the connection can be kind of spotty and choppy, and that's not what I wanted. So I said, let me not do that. Let me turn on my comments as well as my banner. I almost forgot about that. Today is, see, I didn't even know. Today is show number 114. There we go. So now we're running, we're ready to go. So if you have comments, please feel free. And if no comments, just let me know that you're there. Say hello from wherever you are in the world, and I will give you a quick shout out. So let's move on. Like I said, I was a guest on Moret's show last week, and some of the things we talked about, I thought they were good to talk about on my show, just in case you missed it. So I'm going to go through some of the things that we talked about on her show, on my show. So, like the first thing, and I'm just going to jump into it, right? I'm not going to wait and go through, how I normally go through my format and things like that. But no, I'm not going to do that today. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? All about the experiences, Cheryl Rogers. It's always good to hear from Cheryl Rogers. It's been so long. See, I used to hear from her all the time. Now it's kind of spotty it's kind of inconsistent, but that's okay. She's coming back around, so I do appreciate that. Um, the first topic we talked about was live streaming best practices. Say like I'm doing this show on StreamYard, right? So this is a live show. So what did we talk about, or what are some of the best practices of that? Okay, let me just give you the nuts and bolts. So okay, so I do StreamYard. Now StreamYard is a service that where you can broadcast or stream your content like this video, production right now onto different platforms. So I do StreamYard and I broadcast my content onto LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live. So that's how I use that. But I've been having some issues, and I hate to say this, but StreamYard, I've been having some issues with connection and being kind of a spotty connection. And I thought it was just me, but it's not just me. Other people have been experiencing that as well. So hopefully, like today's broadcast is not being choppy and that you can understand what I'm saying. Because if not, I'm gonna have to go to another platform because I can't afford, to lose people because of, choppy content. So, beware. I mean, that's a good best practice right now. Experiment with different platforms. If they don't work for you, you know what? You need to get off of that and go on to something else that will. And the funny thing, last week when we did, and it was on Moret's show last week, right? And the funny thing was when we got off of StreamYard, we went and just did like a 10, 15-minute quick synopsis of the show on Instagram live. And guess what? There was no issues at all. So that may be my next platform if this one is not working correctly. See, I don't have a problem with telling people because you know what? I want you guys to do this as well, and I want you to be successful. And being successful means, you're getting your message across, and it's not spotty, it's not shoddy. The technology is working as supposed to. So, and that's what we want. So, okay. So, one best practice was, well, a good connection. Have a good, have a good connection. StreamYard allows you to schedule your show and promote it, which is a good thing. See, that's a good thing about StreamYard. So I could have like okay, my show's next Tuesday, so I can already start promoting my show on StreamYard for the next, it will promote your show and it come with a link, so they don't have to go into LinkedIn or YouTube. They can just click on the link and it automatically takes you to StreamYard, right? So that's one good thing about that. So look into that, but make sure, like I said, it is working. Follow a format. Okay, so I actually have a format. I don't just shoot from the hip. I don't just, say whatever. I mean, I do say whatever, but it's actually on the script, right? So I'm looking at a format or a script that I'm reading, and you can't see it, but it's actually on my iPad in front of me. So, and I'm just getting messages now that I'm freezing on YouTube. So I do apologize for that, but thank you so much, Cheryl, for letting me know that. And guess what? That means something that, this may be a thing of the past, meaning you utilizing StreamYard. But we're gonna get through this today. I have to get through it today, right? And please also note that the algorithm on the StreamYard algorithm, because we're streaming to multiple platforms, sometimes the algorithm works against you on platforms like LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn may not like me streaming to two platforms. I mean, I do LinkedIn, they love that, but they may not like me streaming to YouTube. So that can go against you, right? Meaning enough people may not see your content. And that's what you want. You want to make sure you get the optimal level of people watching your show, watching your content. Let's see. It's, you know what? I mentioned this to someone who has a podcast the other day. I mean, yeah, this person has a podcast, and I mentioned this to them. It's one of these. It's one, like I said, it's one of these best practices, and I think it's something that it should resonate. It's okay not to have a guest on your show. Hey, Michelle, how are you, Miss Harlan? It's okay not to have guests on your show. I mean, they chime in for you, I would hope. They tune in or they listen in because you're bringing this valuable content to the table, right? So it's okay to have guests, but if you don't have guests, you shouldn't be frantic or freaking out. Just do the show without it. You're the one that's supplying the content. So you should be able to carry a show if you need to. Okay, so remember it's your show. My show is called On Air with Russell of Hotels. Okay, so it's not called On Air with all these many guests. Although the guests do, they bring something to the table as well, but you don't actually need them. If you can't come up with them, if you can't find them, it's okay. Don't freak out over it. Do the show yourself. It's okay. So that's one of the things that I always tell people. And don't be afraid to start. Okay, don't be afraid to start a show. You try, like, do like a couple shows on Instagram Live or something like that. Maybe do a couple minutes at a time, just to get your feet wet and understand what you're saying, understand what you're reading, and things like that, and just keep it going. I mean, no one's going to be perfect the first time. I've done this 114 times. I'm still not perfect, and guess what? I'm not going to be perfect because I mean that's just me. I'm imperfect, but it works. But it works. Okay, so that was the first thing. So that was live streaming best practices. That's it. Any questions about that? You can always email me, and it's the best way to reach me. Email me at russell@russellofhotels.com, or you can DM me on any platform. Diversity in content marketing. Another thing that we talked about last week. We have to change our mindset when it comes to marketing. It's never about you. Always remember that. Whoever's doing the marketing for your facility, your hotel, your company, your business, it's never about you, right? It's not what you want. It's what the people on the other end want, because you're trying to promote to them. You're marketing your product or service to them, so they will in turn come and utilize that product or service. It's about the audience you're trying to persuade or to use your hotel. I'm gonna use that hotel as an example. If you're only promoting to certain groups of people, you're going to get the same results. So if you've been historically, um, promoting to one group of person or people, guess what? You're only going to get those people, and you're going to miss out on some dollars because there's other people out there that may want to utilize your hotel or your services or whatever, and because they don't see themselves at your hotel, what does that mean? People want to see themselves in promotion. Okay, they want to see themselves in your advertising. I'm not going to pick a place if I see, and this is no disrespect, but this is how life is, right? This is how it works, right? People want to resonate with the people that are there. So if I went to a hotel or I'm looking at advertising, I only saw a bunch of people that didn't like me, why would I want to go there? And so we have to think about this stuff. We have to be conscious of our marketing strategies as well as our marketing tools, our content. We just have to be, I don't want to say woke, but there you go. We have to be conscious of what's going on because people look at that and people want to stay at your hotel, but they also want to see people that look like them in the advertising. Okay. So I think that's a simple fix. I don't think that's anything big. Um, it's big if you don't do it. It's big if you scratch your head every year, like, we keep missing the mark. What markets are we looking at? What markets are you looking at? Are you including certain groups of people in your marketing strategy? I mean, those are things that we have to look at as a marketer, as a director of sales marketing. The thing with hotel people, they're more into, it says director of sales and marketing. It should be director of marketing and sales, okay? Because you need to put more emphasis on the marketing part. I'm not saying less on the sales, but marketing is an integral part of what you're doing. And a lot of people don't even understand that. They don't even get it, right? They just say, oh, I'm director of sales, okay? Well, there's a huge marketing component that you're missing, okay? So sometimes we need to rethink what we do or how we do it. So, but anyway, just remember this: it's never about the marketer; it's about the people in the market or the that you're marketing. I just came up with that. Just pull that out. I'll tell you what. Uh, but yeah, that's something I just pulled out. See, my thing just went out. See that those are the things right there. See, all of a sudden I'm talking and the connection just went poof. It went blank, but it went back on. So, that's anyway. So I'm gonna say this one more time. It's never about the marketer. It's about the people in the market. Boom. Travel advisors versus influencers. Now, this is a big topic, right? It's a hot topic. So I'm just going to read this is my personal opinion on what travel advisors are and what travel influencers are, because, there's always a big debate about, why the travel advisors get or travel influencers get more than the travel advisors or travel agents. That's a lot of people, that's how we know them as travel agents. Because there's a debate several months ago on Clubhouse with a group of travel influencers and travel advisors. They're basically saying hotels take care of the travel influencers and they don't take care of the travel advisors. And the travel advisors are the ones actually bringing all the business, right? So does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. People that work in hotels or destinations, you kind of understand that. Um, it's relationship driven. The rates they make are trackable. They have an IATA number, which is trackable as well, and they can only get a commission based on that. Right. So if they're not producing numbers for your hotel, guess what? They don't get their commission, which is whatever 10% or whatever the heck it is. They don't get that without that, right? So it's easy to track. There's reports like, and I believe Hotelligence is still around. Back in my day, which is just a couple of years ago, we used a report called Hotelligence that came through, I want to say Sabre, which is one of the major travel agent platforms or travel advisor platforms where you make reservations. And if it wasn't on there, it didn't exist, right? Or meaning, if it wasn't on there, then we couldn't track the numbers from that particular travel agent or that travel agent company or consortia. Consortia is a group of travel agents like American Express Travel, things like that. So it's a group of them on that umbrella. So it was easy to track. So it was a sales function, right? I mean, dealing with travel advisors are a sales function because you can track the ROI, right? So a travel influencer is different. Not all travel influencers are related to travel. That's first and foremost. So if you're looking for travel influencers to promote your hotel, make sure that they are doing travel because a lot of them do a lot of different things, right? So I would look for ones that specifically are doing travel and they do things in your particular hotel. Meaning, if I'm a 3-star hotel and they only do luxury hotels, well, that doesn't even mesh, right? So why would you use that? Use them. But if you're a luxury hotel and the travel influencers are they're primarily promoting luxury hotels, then ding, 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 there you go. That's what you want to do, right? That's who you want to go with. But make sure they do travel. Make sure they're doing the same type of, like I said, 3, 4, 5 diamond, whatever it is. Make sure they're doing that. Maybe boutique hotels, things like that. So, but to me, a travel influencer is more of a marketing function. They promote your brand, they keep you relevant. It's similar to what On Air with Russell Hotels would do for you, right? And they expose you to different people or different markets. And there's no perceived ROI. So it's hard to put that on there because, like I said, it's more of a marketing function or brand function. But you got to know what is your goal when you're hiring one. Is one thing. Um, and not one influencer fits every situation. So know your situation and know what's going on, right? So those are the things that I think about travel advisors versus travel influencers. So hopefully that cleared up some things because I know you're wondering about that, right? What about trends? Summer trends. You ever heard this vaxication nation? Vaxication. These are people that have vaccinated, they're going on vacation. People that have been vaccinated and the destinations are open to them. So like say like Hawaii, Mexico, Korea, although you can go to Mexico and not have had a shot or whatever. I think they ask for a test. You have to have a negative test when you get there, but you don't have to have had the vaccination. So that's where people in the U.S. are basically traveling to Hawaii, Mexico, and the Caribbean because it's easy to get there, right? So road trips will remain popular. Road trip within 2 hours of wherever you began your trip. Let's say if I'm in LA, 2 hours from LA would be Santa Barbara, would be San Diego, would be Palm Springs area. So those are the areas that a lot of people in Southern California, or they may even go to Vegas, but Vegas is another 3.5, 4 hour drive from there. But people do that as well. And now that Vegas is fully open, people are just going in droves to Vegas as well. Traveling to different states, people are trying to what am I trying to say? People have more interest in going to U.S. destinations now because guess what? That's the only place they can go because getting out of the country is kind of spotty now, and you get out of the country now with this new variant um, COVID virus, you may not be able to get back in. You just don't know. You just don't know. So people are rediscovering or discovering the U.S., which is great. I just came from Houston. Just in case you did not know that, I was in Houston from Saturday morning to about 10 o'clock this morning, 10 o'clock today. So that's why I said I wasn't sure I was going to be sure or not, but I did it. I'm here. I'm doing it. So, but that was good. But I'll talk about that a little in a little while. People still doing staycations. Staycations, all I ever wanted. They're still doing staycations. They're staying and eating local. They're doing that non-meat eats thing, that non-meat eats tour. That's hosted by Russell of Hotels. No, I'm just joking on that. I just threw that out there, but you never know that could be coming. But yeah, people are doing staycations and staying, eating local. Um, Travel shorter lead times for the most part. A lot of destinations open in Southern California. We know, Disneyland's open. Knott's Berry Farm, I believe, is open. Universal Studios open as well. Um, I mentioned the traveling to different states. Last minute rental cars. Now I don't know if this is still going on, but a couple of weeks ago there were issues getting rental cars. So make sure that whenever you plan your trip, if you need a rental car, you're doing it at the same time, maybe even before you do your airline travel, because there was They weren't normally what they do is they replenish their rental cars, and because of COVID, they weren't doing that. So they normally change things out, and they have a huge supply on hand. But because they weren't changing things out because the business was slow, they only had so many cars to give out or to rent. So there was a backlog of there was more people that wanted cars than they had cars to give people. So make sure you call your rental car company and make sure there are cars available. That is muy importante. So make sure if you're traveling and you do need a rental car, make sure you reserve your car early. Okay. Plan on now let's do this. Okay. This was something else today. Okay. So we flew back from Houston this morning. Um, so we took an Uber from the house to the airport, which was $15. Okay. So coming back, it was a Lyft. It wasn't Uber, it was Lyft. So coming back, check the app again to take it from LAX to my house, which is all of maybe, if you hit all the lights, you'd be there, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. It was $100 to get a lift from the airport. Okay, it was $21 to get a cab. Guess which one I took? Okay, so you gotta be crazy. So like economics, I'm not paying $100 when I just paid $15 on Saturday. That's crazy. So what I found out is that, and people may already know this, is that the taxi cabs are regulated by the city or the state, right? So they can only charge a certain amount. There's no regulations on Lyft and Uber. So they can gouge you if they want to. So, but what I've found out is that the Ubers and Lyfts don't have they're not registered to go, they don't have the permit or the certificate or license or whatever it's called to go into the airport. So what you need to do is go outside the airport, meaning walk across the street to the Hyatt Hotel or whatever hotel that's close, and then order your Lyft or Uber from there, and you will not get charged this $100 exorbitant fee that they were trying to charge me earlier today. But like I said, I just took the cab, looked at the cab fares, and it's $21. I'm like, done. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'll wait 10 minutes to take a cab, right? But yeah, Uber and Lyft. Uber was $71 and Lyft was well over $100 to get to the same place that I paid $15 for on Saturday. So look at that in your area, look at the prices before we say, oh, I'll just take a Lyft over there. Sometimes the taxi cab is the cheaper option. Yeah, sometimes we get caught up on, well, it's not very clean. But guess what? The taxi cabs had to step up their games because people were not using them because they were using Lyft and Uber because those cars were required to be clean, right? Taxi cabs were not. Okay, but now taxi cabs have upped their game as far as cleanliness is concerned. So don't go to sleep on the taxi cabs. Okay. So if you look at the Uber or Lyft charges or the price to go from A to B and it's like an exorbitant amount of money that's crazy, check out your local cab company. They don't really have that word as well. Just you can look it up and it tell you exactly what that's gonna cost. So that's what we did and that's what we took. So did I go off on a rant on that? Was I on a soapbox? Well, let me get off of that right now. Okay, so know before you go, and make sure you pack your patience. I keep saying that, right? And I need some water here for the people that are listening to me on the podcast. Excuse me, getting a little choked up, a little parched, if you will. But yeah, know before you go. And what else was I saying? Yeah, pack your patience. Make sure although we didn't experience any issues, flying in. I have Clear, right? Clear is not it's not the TSA screening, but Clear is, you do your fingerprints or whatever, and it takes you once you do the Clear, and it's available at most major airports. And I got it for free. Go Clear, CLEAR.com. I think it's called clearme.com. Check that out. And if you travel, I say if you travel more than 10 times a year, you need to have Clear. Because who wants to stand that darn long security line? So what happens is Clear will get me to the point where that last security person is there, and that's the person that checks your ID. But they don't check my ID because it's been checked with Clear. So all I have to do is get in the line for the, take your clothes off and put it and put it on the the conveyor belt and take your laptop off and all that stuff on the conveyor belt. So that's where it takes me. So I bypass these 200 people that are in line, and it takes me right to that security person. And then, like I said, I don't even have to give my credentials to the security person because Clear has already told me. They basically introduced them to me, like, oh, this is Russell Upman. He's gonna blah blah blah. Okay, cool, boom, done. And that's how Clear works. So we didn't have any issues there. Even Lex or Houston Hobby didn't have any issues at all. So, but there's a lot of people traveling, of course, because it's a busy weekend. But no issues when it came to that. The only issues we had were coming back to LAX, where Uber and Lyft were, and they're charging ridiculous prices to get back home. That's the only issue. So get out and travel, have fun. So okay, so but make sure you pack patience because you're going in the hotels that may be understaffed, or you may, just the whole waiting for a rental car. I mean, waiting for a rental car, waiting for your taxi cab, or you find out that Lyft and Uber or the prices are skyrocketing. Pack your patience. It's okay. All right, you're gonna get to your destination, so don't worry about it, or don't worry about it too much. Use social media consistently to get your message out, whatever your product or service is, stay relevant, and it should be a huge part of your marketing strategy. Those things I say every week, it has not changed. Non-meat eats. Oh my God, I was in Houston, and people don't think, Houston is big on meat. Texas is big on meat, brisket and all these meat items. I don't even want to name them, steak and all this stuff. And seafood is big in Houston. Different parts of Houston is big on seafood. So found a vegan place, right, or a plant-based restaurant. It was called Green Seed. It's on Alameda in Houston. It's in Houston, and I got this illy, Philly cheese steak. Right? Well, this was called illy cheese steak. It was cut up or chopped up watermelon mushrooms. Get, oh my God, with cheese on. It was grub. That's all I can say. It was grub. It was delish. It was all that, right? So if you're ever in Houston and you're looking for some non-meat eats, go to Green Seed on Alameda in Houston and have the illy cheesesteak. Also, they had a barbecue jackfruit. I make jackfruit here, and it was just as good. Right? Well, I think mine was better. Okay, but I didn't get that. I got the like I said, the illy cheesesteak, but they did have a barbecue jackfruit burger or sandwich or whatever. So very good. So that's every week I try to share where I was the previous week, where I ate as far as non-meat eats or a plant-based restaurant. So that was my plant-based restaurant for the week. I also have did you know that there are over 30, at least on my list, there's over 40 plant-based or vegan-friendly restaurants. Either they're 100% plant-based or they're plant-based friendly. Okay, so there's over 40. So I got some work to be done. Okay, here in LA, Greater LA area, and that can encompass, LA. It can be in the Valley. It can be some parts of Orange County. It can be Long Beach. Long Beach has like 10, right? And Long Beach is not as big as LA, but Long Beach has like 10 restaurants that I think I've gone to at least four of those. So, but there's other ones on my list. So there's no reason you can go to LA and say, "Oh, I'm plant based. I couldn't find anything good to eat." You're crazy. Okay, call me or email me Russell at russellofhotels.com if you want some information on vegan restaurants or plant based restaurants, whatever you want to call them. It's interchangeable to me. Okay, so some things someone had asked me, or Maria had asked me, some of the trends in plant-based dining, and I don't know if I came up with trends or said some of the things that I eat. There's a lot more vegan food trucks. I don't know if you guys know, if you're in LA, there's a lot of vegan food trucks. There, let's see what else. I'm just gonna say some foods that I eat. Okay, things that I prepare for myself, or things that I look for when I go out to eat. The latest thing is plant-based bacon. I don't know what it's made of. I'm sure it's a soy-based product, and and some other stuff. But there's a plant-based bacon out. I haven't tried it yet, but but when I try, I'll let you know. Fried chicken made with oyster mushrooms. Mushrooms are a huge part of a plant-based diet if you're trying to simulate certain things. Because the reason why is people. Someone asked me this the other day. Why do they always have to compare like chicken or fried chicken? Because people identify. I mean, I identify with a fried chicken or chicken nuggets or whatever. Okay, little piece of chicken, right? So I identify that because I at one point I did eat chicken before, right? So you want to I be able to identify with certain things, and that way you're going to eat them. But if it was something else that you couldn't wrap your mind around, like what the heck is that? And am I going to eat that? You probably wouldn't eat it. So if I'm saying that oyster mushrooms breaded can look like chicken, there's more people they're more likely to try it because they say, well, I like chicken. So Russell said it looks like chicken. Does it taste like chicken? Well, it can. It's seasoned. It's very good. So I mean, what about cauliflower? Cauliflower wings that look like hot wings. Okay, they come in the same sauce. They're in the buffalo sauce or whatever. Same thing, but they're just using cauliflower. Cauliflower been cut to look like little drumettes, right? You talking about good, this stuff is good. So orange chicken. I've had orange chicken that either it can be tofu or it can be little pieces, little florets of cauliflower as well. But they've been breaded just like they would bread orange chicken in your favorite Chinese restaurant or whatever. It's the same thing. Well, it's the same thing to me. It tastes like the same thing to me. It's a substitute, of course, but you have options, right? You can try these things, and I think you'll be satisfied. So those are things I said to Marette last week. Egg substitute, they have a just egg that will scramble almost similar to what scrambled eggs would look like. And of course, the fat that eggs have in it. There's artichoke pasta. It's basically artichoke that's been this spiraled and looks like pasta. You wouldn't know the difference. I mean, you know the taste because it tastes a little different. If you saw them both plated next to each other, you would not know that one was a artichoke pasta and one was a just a regular like linguine pasta. You would not know the difference. And vegan cheese, I use this brand called Misha. It's called Misha's Kind Food Brand, and Misha is spelled Mishas. So I mention that because they happen to be friends of mine, the people that have put this vegan cheese out, and it has a consistency like a hummus, and it melts because some of the vegan cheese does not melt well. It takes forever for it to melt, and sometimes it doesn't melt at all. So if you're trying to make dishes and which calls for your cheese to melt, some of the vegan cheese does not melt. But I guarantee you, this Misha brand, which is at Whole Foods, like you wanted to. So there you go. What else? What else? What else? New openings, new hotel openings. So these are hotels that have opened in LA this year. So 2021. There's a group of them that opened in 2020, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about the ones that have opened in 2021. And they are the Proper Hotel, 148 rooms. That's downtown LA. They have a rooftop bar and restaurant and opened in April. So the Proper Hotel, downtown LA. Citizen M Hotel, that's downtown as well. February 21st is when it opened. Oh, not February 21st. February of this year is when it opened, and it has 315 rooms. That's a good size one. Thompson Hollywood, that opened in January, 190 rooms. The East Central Hotel, now this one was formerly the Lex Hotel downtown, right? It's like a 180 room hotel. It's right across from Staples Center, just as a reference point, diagonal to Staples Center. And it's called, once again, the East Central Hotel, 180 rooms, and they open up just in May. And then the Hyatt House, that's the only branded hotel that I know that is open. It's at USC Medical Center, and it opened sometime in the first quarter, and it has 200 rooms. So those are the new hotels that I know that have opened up in downtown or in and around downtown LA. So I'm Russell of Hotels, so I have to tell you the information as well, right? Do. I talked to someone the other day. She's a meeting planner. Okay, and let me take another drink of water. This person's a meeting planner, and she was kind of put off. She's trying to plan some meetings, right? And some hotels, I'm not gonna say every hotel that she went to, but at least one hotel, um, they offered this. It had to do with meeting space. She needs meeting space for her meetings, of course, right? So they have this COVID-19 setup fee, which is $500. Like, what the heck is it? What is it for? And I said, is it different rooms? I mean, are you using the social distancing or whatever? She said, well, they require some social distancing, but the same space. It's not like you're getting more space. So if it's the same 5,000 square foot room, okay, and you're just going to be spread out a little more, why would you have to charge a $500 setup fee? Someone needs to, chime in and tell me this. Call me when the show's over, or email me at russellofhotels.com, because I don't understand that one. I don't understand how you can charge a COVID setup fee for the same room in the same space. Okay, only thing you're doing is you're putting less chairs at a table. That's the thing I can see. That's the only thing she told me. So I know all the factors around here, but what I don't have the factor is, why are they charging $500 for a COVID setup fee? So be leery of that if you're a meeting planner. Go and don't be afraid to ask questions like, why is this? What is this fee for? I'm not using this. I'm using the same space. I'm using your same setup, your same chairs. Why is there a COVID fee? Don't be afraid to ask these questions, because they need to tell you exactly why. So we have this understanding of why they're charging me $500 and why they think I'm going to pay it. And then also she mentioned, now I know coffee. Coffee is one of those things that, it's the prices have been going up forever, right? And last I heard, I mean, my last hotel were charging $110 a gallon of coffee. $110 per 1 gallon of coffee. Okay. Now she just the same person, $150 per gallon. Now I know prices have gone up. Has coffee gone up too? I don't know. Coffee is one of those things that we just charge whatever for it. Anyway, so those are things that, meeting plan as a meeting planner, you need to know these things. I need to know these things because I do that as well. Why do hotel site selection? This person is actually a meeting planner for a company. I'm contracted out to assist companies find hotels, and part of what I do is contract negotiation, pricing, which includes getting the space and all that stuff, rooms, rates, and space, right? So all those things I'm responsible for to get, and those are the things that I would fight. I'm like, what is this COVID-19 setup fee? What is that? And how do I get around to paying it? Right? That's what I need to know. So that's interesting. Okay, so in closing, and I'm almost done. I'm about done, right? Because, like I said, it's I'm trying to move faster on some of these things, and not inundate you with a lot of information. So get it, you're done, you move on, right? Then you can move on with your day. So, but some shows would, if I had guests on here, of course, those shows would be a little longer. But anyway, in closing, I just want to say this. It has to do with marketing. I mentioned this earlier. Marketing is never about you. It begins with your audience and what they want. Once you know what your audience wants, connect them with your product or service in the way they want to receive it. So however the guest wants to receive it, or however your clients wants to receive it, that's it to them. And that's why I mentioned about the content, being creative with your content, being diverse. Have make sure your content is diversified. Those things are important. Hotel brand advocate. This is something I talk about all the time. We don't have enough of these darn advocates. A hotel brand advocate is a guest or employee of a business who actively shares information about your hotel to their networks via social media. That can be word of mouth, social media, I just mentioned that, email marketing, or through content without any incentive other than the love of your brand. If you have employees that are diehard, whatever your brand is, Those are the best advocates. Why not put them in front of a camera or something to say something good about your hotel? Because that goes a lot further. It's not going to be rehearsed. It's something that you're going to put out there. Russell Edmond works at Hotel X, and he's been here for 20 years, and he loves the hotel. He wants you to come and stay. I mean, you don't think that would resonate with people if you start seeing employees of that particular hotel talking about how they love that brand? I've been here for 30 years. Um, they treat me well, this, they do that. Come and stay with us. Come look me up. We need to be more about what we're doing. We just go emotions. Okay, we're thinking because it's over now. We can just go, oh man, we just go back to where the way it was. Guess what? The way it was is not going to work. People, wake up. I just had to take another drink of water after that wake up. but you need to do things a little different. Um, I just think you do, and those things will resonate with people. I always mention do more lives, hotels, and do more reels, hotels. This is for the hotels. They need to do more lives and more reels because you get more engagement with those two things. I know for a fact I do a lot of market research just for my own brand to see how many likes or people comment or they ask more questions, and that's what you want. You don't just want things that you're putting out there that people are not making comments on. And a lot of still pictures, people are not they're not making comments on those. Do some video, reels or videos. A live, like I'm doing here, a live is I've already had like 5 or 6 different comments. Okay. It can be just something as great or whatever, or emoji, whatever. But guess what? After the show, I'm going to go back and I'm going to thank each person that actually said a comment. So that's what it's all about. It's a two-way street, right? Your content is a two-way street. Okay, so that's my brand advocate thing. So making a hotel reservation, always remember to book direct. Okay, so no matter where you're going, no matter where you're staying, always book direct. That's it for today. Thank you for joining On Air with Russell Hotels. I appreciate you. You guys have a great week. Oh, how was your Thanksgiving? How was your 4th of July weekend? I hope it was great. Mine was great. Saw fireworks, ate a lot. Actually ate too much, but guess what? It was all plant-based. So, but just remember, plant-based, if you eat too much anything, it's not a good thing. Okay, so remember to eat in moderation. Whatever you eat, just eat in moderation and we'll be good. So that's it. So you guys take care. Have a great week, and I will see you soon. And I'm trying to do my banner, turn off my banner. Done there. Do this. You guys take care. Peace.